This is looking north along the pond, and everything you see, almost without exception, is pines that the beavers have ignored. Center screen, that's the current lodge they're using this year. This one is one of their bachelor lodges. When the female has her kits, the male gets chased out of the lodge and he has to go find some place to batch it for a while. So this is one of those. A little further over, it looks quite diminished now, but that lodge has twice been the main lodge, and I think it's settled some into the pond, but that used to be quite a substantial lodge. Looking a little further over, that's a canoe and what I call the observation area, where I come to watch the beavers when the pond's not frozen. Also, Canadian geese come and they let their chicks come and eat right next to me, which is kind of cool. Just to give you an idea of scale, I'm 5'8", and you can see that their lodge is almost as tall as I am. So they're pretty massive constructions, the lodges that they choose to use year-round. Pileated woodpecker up there. They like the dead trees because they can get insects out of them, but most of these they shouldn't be trying because they've been dead so long that the insects have pretty much abandoned them. Here you can see through the ice some branches that look like they're bleached, but these are what the beavers have been living on during the course of the winter. They've eaten the bark off of all of these branches. Over there we've actually got open water, and you can see it's flanked by an awful lot of these branches that have had all the bark taken off of them. The beavers actually make a larder each year. They've pretty much gone through it. You can just see past the lodge there are some of the branches that they've stuffed under the ice. The idea being they can come out of their lodge under the ice, swim in the unfrozen water under the ice to get the branches that are jammed there and nibble off what they want, take them back to the lodge, eat them, but then they have to dispose of them. They make an effort to keep these larder areas open. So over there you see that is also open water. Where I'm standing there's probably 6 inches of water, but somehow they manage to keep that from freezing. And that gives them access through the ice to dispose of their leftover limbs. So here we are back on the beaver pond. And fortunately, even though we've had some warm days, it's managed to preserve its ice. I wanted to show you one of the phenomena that I really am thrilled by. Here, for instance, we have gas that's come up from the soil at the bottom of the pond. Some of it may be very deep in origin, possibly dissolving of some limestone, but for whatever the reason, throughout the year, gas comes up to the surface. And as the pond freezes and gets a layer of ice, the bubbles will get trapped under that layer of ice and then get encased. So in this case, you see there's 2 distinct layers. Here you can actually see multiple layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different layers of bubbles that got trapped on the bottom of ice and then got encased in the ice. And you can judge from this, the ice is fairly clear. It's probably about a foot thick, so I'm feeling comfortable walking around on it. Just the temperature today is about 40 degrees, so the top is really slick. My wife has asked me to clear out some of the dead stuff out of the pond. Don't want it showing above water, so what I do is I come in below the ice so that I'm cutting the stump off below water level. It throws a lot of ice, and on a warm day like today, it also throws a lot of water. So it's a very messy process, but it's the only reasonable way to go after these things. On a larger snag like this, I can't take it with one cut. I have to do at least two, usually from opposite sides. It's got a slight lean towards the shore, so I'm going to hope that that is the way it goes and not towards the camera. If necessary, I may have to make a third cut on this side. But I don't usually cut it off with a notch and back cut, because in these cases I need to have the weight of the tree help pry it out of the ice. So I actually go right down below the ice and do the cutting there.